All right, everybody. Can everybody here say, ooh-wee? Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, let's do that one more time. Well, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. That's great. All right, well, I am very excited to be here and, I don't know, just honored to be in a place that I think understands the importance of serving communities. So that's what I do as poet. So I was the first Poet Laureate of Charleston, had that title for 6 years, and it ended on June 1st. But one of the big things that I do is serve communities through my work, and that's doing workshops, that's presenting poetry all around the city, that's doing really fun collaborations with organizations in town. And I do think that this is a really good fit for me to be here because Lowcountry Food Bank and all of your friends, you serve communities as well, and it's super important what you do. But I do want to just thank Lowcountry Food Bank for having poetry in this place. It's such a flexible art form, so I appreciate you for thinking about poets. All right, so I'm gonna be on stage for about 5 hours, right? That's my time? Nope, okay. 15 minutes, apparently. I only have 15 minutes for you all. But I do, thank you for your ear and thank you for your energy. I had a big presentation plan, but I think what I'm just gonna do is just read some poems to you and in between talk about some of the community work that is happening here in Charleston. For those who might not be familiar with the area here, there's a lot of lovely stuff going on. But first I'm gonna start things off with something, a poem that I wrote that's a little bit of a prayer-ish. But this is all about me prioritizing self-care. And I think that that's really important for all of you as well. In fact, I'm gonna ask, Kim, what did you do for self-care today? You haven't done anything yet. All right, so what will you do for self-care today?
I think I will probably go for a walk and spend some quality time with my daughter and husband.
Okay, sweet. Go for a walk, spend some family time. That is great. Okay, what about you in the lovely purple shirt here in the front? What are you gonna do, or what have you done for self-care today? Okay. Well, what are you going to do for self-care today? Take a nap. Yeah. Oh, grandkids. That's beautiful. Okay. Oh, yeah, so I just encourage you all to prioritize self-care. This is a poem where I was thinking about that for myself. It's called Give Yourself Some Flowers. The title alone. You're all like, okay. And in the beginning, God gave your body a checklist. Keep your heart on beat and your lungs dancing with oxygen, not passive to air. Make sure the path of your blood slows down for checkpoints and avoids bumps in the road. Train your nerves to keep a balanced pace and stay within the lines of steady flow. Push forward without putting too much pressure on movement. Remember to return to water when your spirit and its frame are in drought. Treat your body like a well-rounded planet built for all seasons, or pretend you are an adaptable star. Float in the black and stay there if you need to. Save some light for yourself. In other words, rest like the sun does. Schedule some time to stay out of sight when too many people praise your warm energy. Keep in mind all of these things when depression tells you nothing is working. Keep in mind all of these things when it tells you there is no invisible force connecting us, when your veins are stopped by blood clots, when your bones are dry and the water is too quick to boil. Keep in mind all of these things when it tells you that the soul is like the body, made to be broken, open to deterioration and doubt. Yes, keep in mind all of these things, and remember, even when it seems like the clock isn't ticking, you were made perfectly for this moment in time. Thank you. Actually, can I get you all to snap your fingers? Can we do that? Oh, yeah, that's nice. The sound of clapping is nice too, but for a poet, snapping is a wonderful thing. I also should mention, this is so like ironic and fun for me to be here because my best friend in the whole world, Jason Lane, works for the food bank here, so I'm happy to be here. He isn't here right now, but anyway, like he was the best man at my wedding. I've known him for about 600 years now, so he's great. This is a poem about my city. As poet laureate, I was tasked to really learn a lot about my city. And I also feel like if you live in a place, you have a relationship with it. And if you're in a relationship with somebody, you take the good and the bad, right? You don't just leave when there's a bad thing that happens. So I talk about everything that I see in Charleston in this poem. I live in Charleston, South Carolina, where the sidewalks scream on Saturday nights and the corners rotate budding musicians with skin-tight dreams, where strings of pearls search for salvation, then sweat out their frustrations on the backs of rooftops, where the homeless sprout like weeds through concrete seeking $2, a handshake, and a little bit of sunshine, where the humidity chokes you out of your breath, but you still manage to speak to the spit-shine waiters who serve $95 bottles of wine, where 2 blocks away, a $5 pitcher of liquid gold spills on the canvas of sticky floors, where love lingers on cobblestone streets and narrow alleyways, but the smell of racism is the foundation for first and last impressions. I live in Charleston, where shadows are surrounded by the ocean and seeing people gasp for air from knee-deep bills and dirt-cheap thrills, where those with no sense of history's melody sync with the songs of the city's slaves, where the poets scrape stanzas off of streetlights, and if we scream loud enough, maybe someone will hear. I live in Charleston, where church steeples and cranes look over us and multicolored houses house live-in servants, where fast-rising hotels rise above slow-moving clouds that cast floods on the corner of America Street, where parades of one color get one day to celebrate, then hide in the shadows of gentrification, where Gullah cuisine is too expensive for Gullah people. I live in Charleston, where bridges and bike lanes break bread with politics while progressives preach peace with uneducated tongues, where the angel oak tree is young compared to our vanity, where $16 hamburgers are sold in the middle of a food desert, and every community wants a piece of the pie. Grandmothers sit on porches watching us change, but the problems of our city remain the same. I live in Charleston. Thank you. All right, how are we feeling? We all right? Okay, so yeah, writing about community and food is something that I was tasked with by the Wine and Food Festival. It's funny, first world problems. As poet laureate, I was asked to write about a lot of different events, and those are really the hardest poems to write. But one of the poems I'm really proud of was one I wrote for the Wine and Food Festival, and I was like, I can write about food and wine because I drink wine and I love food, but I'm trying to find something that connects it to all of us. And I started thinking about my grandmother. So my grandmother, she's since passed. She was from Orangeburg. And the one thing that we always did at her house, one of the first things that we did was go into the kitchen She was always making food, and that brought us together. So this is a poem for her. Yeah, we miss her. It's called A Divine Feminine. If you believe superheroes didn't exist, then you never knew Georgia May Jones, my grandmother. She could have saved the world with her pound cake. It had just the right amount of sugar to defeat any evil inside of you, and could turn a sour weakness into sweetness, take your taste buds to hyperspace, and awaken the superpowers of your senses. Her heroic hands held secrets, magic spells mixed into recipes, an infusion of soul, the miracle of a Black woman's kitchen. Food was one of her many strengths, and it was the one thing that always brought my family together. My life's story was a gift through experience, a movable feast of memory that followed me from childhood to adulthood, influencing the way I now interact with flavor, defining my standard of perfection. I invite you to rediscover your story, to reread the ingredients of your life, written by the supernatural wisdom of women. Maybe it's a divine feminine that flows through you, a spellbinding strength embedded in your breath. Maybe it's a matriarch's recipe passing through generations as you pass through life. Or maybe it's the awareness that your story is our story, and we are permanently connected by this consciousness. That's that one, thank you. Okay, so I got the signal that I have 3 more hours. Thank you, Dana. I do have like 20 more poems, but I'm gonna just read one for you. Time goes by fast, y'all. Thank you for having me. Who decided to call us black and white? When I look at my skin, I don't see black, I see brown. Brown like the color of sand. It's a brilliant tan that needs no sun. Brown like the mahogany tree bark grounded in the summer, whose green leaves make the transition into fall, coffee stained by the autumn's cool breeze. Who decided to call us black and white? When I look at my wife, I don't see white, I see brown, just a lighter shade than mine. Brown is the cinnamon that colors her iris. Brown are the arms that wrap around me during a bronze sunset. Brown are the layered bricks of our home's foundation. Who decided to call us black and white? When I look at all of you, I see shades of brown, a sea of one color, ripples of love floating along a sea change. There are so many words used to divide us, to fool us into seeing ourselves through foggy lenses. We are more than a box-checked statistic. We are more than a census. I am not black or white. I am awake. Thank you. Somebody said amen. Wow. I appreciate you all. You can find my work at charlestonpoet.com. I'm also a huge Star Wars fan, so I bought theblackjedi.com, so you can find me there as well. I appreciate you all, and thank you for the work that you're doing. I truly mean that. Serving communities is so important, especially in this community and in communities in this state. So thank you again. All right.